Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Manya, and today I'm going to show you how I make my vegan, oil-free black bean burgers. Now, I can't take credit for this recipe, so below I will include a link to the website that I follow. It's called Fat Free Vegan, but I found this to be by far the easiest vegan burger that you can make at home, and you can make it without all the saturated fats that come with the ready-made burgers. So what you see here are all of the ingredients that you're going to need, but what you start with is making your own oat flour. Now make sure that you use rolled oats or old-fashioned oats. Don't use quick oats or steel cut oats or anything like that, just the regular old-fashioned rolled oats. And what you're going to do is pulse it a couple of times. You're not making like a really fine powder. You can still have some chunks in there. I go a little farther than the recipe because I find that that works better, but you don't need to go super, super fine with the powder. And then once you have the flour made, all you do is dump in all of the ingredients. This is how simple this is. So start with a can of well-drained black beans. I will tell you this, I have made this with cooked lentils and I have not noticed the difference. So whatever bean or legume you're trying to get your nutrients in for that day, you can use those to make these burgers. Does not have to be black bean. And then from there, you want to put in 3/4 of a cup of salsa. Now, I don't think you have to use salsa if you don't want. You could use a more mild salsa than the one I'm using here. You could probably just use canned tomatoes if you don't want any kind of spice. But I will tell you, it evens out and you don't really taste spiciness. And then you want to add a tablespoon of soy sauce. This is your only salt. So if you don't want to add soy sauce or if you have an allergy to wheat, you might want to try just salt water. That might work as well, but just keep in mind that this is the only salt going into the whole recipe. And then there's a couple of chili powders. Now, the recipe calls for a mild chili powder and a chipotle chili powder. You're going to see me use a smoked paprika here. That's simply because that's the one that I grabbed. You can use really any combination, or you could potentially leave these out. Again, I don't really notice a spiciness in the final product, but if you're more sensitive to spice than I am, you could either leave these out, just do pepper, or do what I did and use a smoked paprika instead of the chipotle powder. Finally, it calls for half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I only have granulated garlic. That seems to work just fine, and I haven't noticed any difference. The last thing is you're going to notice the recipe calls for corn kernels that you add after the mixing process. I don't add those for no other reason than I think they look kind of gross. I think they make the burgers look a little like vomit. So I never put the corn kernels in, but they're good for you. So if you want to add that little bit, you can. Once all of the ingredients are added, you just want to mix it into a thick paste. Put that paste into a bowl, cover it, and put it in the refrigerator for at least 15 minutes. Just gives it a chance to stiffen up and makes it easier to form into patties. In the meantime, if you're going to make burgers, really you should make fries, am I right? This is my giant air fryer, and all I'm showing you here is that fries don't have to be perfect. If you're like me and you're not very good at cutting things all the same size, it's okay. Things are gonna come out just fine, and you can see that I decided to cut them in half. They're all generally the same size. The other takeaway I'd like you to have from this is that you do not need to oil your potatoes in order to make delicious French fries. Oil is very calorically dense, so it's not always the greatest for weight loss. For health, I'm not going to even touch that debate, but it has a lot of calories per pound. So the less oil you can use in your cooking, the better off it is for your weight loss goals. After the burgers have sat in the refrigerator, you can see it's really stiff. You want to use what they call a scant half cup. I will tell you, when I do this, you're going to see it only makes 4 burgers, and the recipe says it should make 6. I can't get 6 burgers when I use a scant half cup. So if you want smaller burgers, you might try using a quarter cup or maybe a quarter cup and a little bit, and that way you can get 6 burgers. You want to make sure that your oven is preheated to 375, and you notice I'm putting those down on parchment paper. Again, no oil, no spray oil necessary. Then, of course, from there, it's make to taste. I like these Dave's Killer Bread hamburger buns. They have by far the least amount of ingredients. I like to toast them up really nicely, and then on top, I put a cheese sauce. This one happens to be the Loca Foods cheese sauce, but it's easy, very easy to make your own cheese sauce from scratch if you are trying to save money or you want to go just a little bit easier on the ingredients, because I believe these do have a little bit of oil in them. And then from there, I like to put some dill pickle slices on top. Dill pickle is really good for, of course, the probiotics in your diet. And then we use iceberg sometimes, but what I had on hand was this green and red cabbage from Trader Joe's. So that will be the green. This is not the greeniest meal. You could, instead of fries, have broccoli on the side or kale, but this burger and fry night, I don't worry about it too much. Look at that nice burger on top. And then it cuts nicely. They're very, very moist. And even with the ones that I will freeze and will eat later, once they're reheated, they will still be moist on the inside. This is why I love this recipe so much. Look at that. If you like tomatoes, you can put tomatoes, whatever you want to put on your burger. It's fine. And then a nice pile of French fries, and you can see they come out nice and crispy. They don't need oil. And then 1 point's worth of regular ketchup for me. And that is my burger. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next video.